Welcome back, boxing fans, to another great show with Sean on boxing. So, controversy has, of course, raised its ugly head once again, uh, not surprisingly, in the YouTube boxing community. And this all stems from Bud Crawford's opinion. And ironically, the people that are getting emotional and upset about Bud Crawford's opinion are Errol Spence fans, who for 5 years prior to the Errol Spence Bud Crawford fight did nothing but literally shit on Bud Crawford's resume. So the fact that now they're getting in their feelings because Bud Crawford has pointed out the really lack of depth in Errol Spence's career, why would you be surprised? And why would you be offended when you spent literally years criticizing and hating on the man you probably had pound for pound on your number one list? Chicano U-Turn says, all right, hell yeah. First, like from South California. What's up, my man? So we'll get back to that and more. Obviously, we have quite a few opinions from people around YouTube. And of course, your opinions, of course it is. Of course it's you. Wayne Evans, what's up? Hard Recoil, salute. So we'll be back after this short announcement. Stay tuned for this and more. Welcome back. So it's ironic because the voices that complain and cry the most tend to be the ones that have the most critical perspective towards other fighters. Like, if Bud Crawford feels that Errol Spence's short career as a world champion doesn't make him a Hall of Famer, is that something that you should be emotional about? Because literally these same fans shit on Crawford for years, right? And people are still doing it. Literally on IBFP's channel, very pro Mexican, pro Canelo Alvarez. Literally, they went off shitting all over Bud Crawford today on one of his videos. Whereas they're not Spence supporters anyway. So, why are they getting emotional? Why are they feeling the need to criticize and hate on Bud Crawford, a fighter, their favorite fighter, is going to be fighting in September? So maybe they should worry more about Canelo Alvarez looking good against Bud Crawford. Because if Bud Crawford beats Canelo Alvarez, all this conversation goes out the fucking door. Bud Crawford's resume becomes fucking way better. You can't really be too critical of it. And it solidifies him as one of the best fighters of his generation. Easily. So, a lot of this to me, it just seems like the typical kind of backbiting that we see day in and day out on YouTube. But leave your opinion in the comment section below. Do you think that Errol Spence is a future Hall of Famer? If he was never to fight again, based on what he's done up to now, is he a Hall of Famer? Of course, he may come back, become a champion at 154, beat several other top fighters, and then things potentially would be completely different. But we're talking about, what have you done for me lately? Where are we? Hard Cole says, why are you changing name? If you need to know us, it's you. He's changing his name every fucking day. Like literally he's coming out with a new name constantly. The day has been here where the LDBC and new media now make narratives among themselves and their fighters. Facts. I was surprised Bud said that, considering it makes his resume look worse, but I agree. It's no disrespect. Bud is a great fighter, but I don't see one legitimate Hall of Famer on his resume. Beating Canelo is huge for him. Yeah, but ironically enough, a lot of people that are Hall of Famers don't necessarily have resumes chock full of Hall of Fame names, right? You can be a historical great heavyweight who just never had those opponents available to you. I mean, we know the fight Bud Crawford wanted for a long time was Manny Pacquiao, a Hall of Famer. Unfortunately, that fight was never able to be made because nobody around Pacquiao was interested in doing that, right? Sometimes that's just the way the fucking cookie crumbles. Yeah, if Arturo Gatti is Spence's. Yeah, and I like Gatti. Obviously, being a Montreal Italian who moved to New Jersey and fought, I like Arturo Gatti, but I never felt Arturo Gatti deserved to be in the Hall of Fame. If he's in the Hall of Fame, it's mostly because of the quality of events he gave us, not based on his resume or the amount of success he had as far as world titles and title defenses and things of that nature. Beating Canelo is monumental for Bud because, like you said, it solidifies all his accolades. Huge. And becomes a three-weight undisputed champion, which a few years ago we would never even have considered possible, right? Let's be honest. A few years ago, nobody would even talk about a fighter becoming a three-weight undisputed champion. So Bud doing that is obviously breaking ground that's never been done before in the modern game. No, I always felt like he was overrated, one weight unified. Sport of boxing. That's like saying Charlo at 154 deserves to be a Hall of Famer. Charlo doesn't deserve to be a Hall of Famer. Based on what? Being undisputed? Is Jermaine Taylor a fucking Hall of Famer? No, he's not. And Jermaine Taylor's best win against Bernard Hopkins is far better than any win Spence has, far better than any win fucking Charlo has. And he did what Spence didn't do, and he did the exact same thing that obviously Charlo did without getting beat 2 times in the process. Sport of boxing has turned their back on the hype of William Zepeda. Not that they turned their back on it, but people feel like William Zepeda kind of let momentum drop off. And that's what I talked about yesterday in my video. Porter and Spence are Hall of Famers. How is Porter a Hall of Famer? Porter never made one successful title defense. Never made one successful title defense. Is Chisora a Hall of Famer? Because Chisora, like Porter, fought all the champions and got beat by all of them. The same as Sean Porter. Sean Porter, in truth, is not a Hall of Famer, and neither is fucking Charlo. Neither is Spence. Not at this time. Let's ask Drunk Irishman what he thinks. If Zepeda versus Farmer tonight or tomorrow, I think it's Sunday, my time, which would be tomorrow. I mean, obviously you're right now in the morning, so it would be tomorrow night. I don't know. I don't know. There might be a ballot one day, but I doubt it. Vinny Pazienza was a good fighter. I wouldn't call him a Hall of Famer, yet he got in. Yeah, again, another fighter I would never have said was a Hall of Famer. Is Spence a Hall of Famer? Hell no. Yeah. See, if Drunk Irishman says it, you know it's fucking legitimate. He ain't here pushing none of this anti-Black American, pro-Black American, fucking American narratives. He's from across the pond. His perspective is not based on what we see most of these people now on YouTube pushing. Sean Porter deserves to get in the Hall of Fame if AB does. Sure, but AB doesn't fucking deserve. What's AB's best win? He also lost to every top fighter he faced, even not top fighters like fucking Maidana. Once he stepped up and faced a legitimate contender, he got beat. His best win is what? Paulie fucking Malignaggi? Paulie also should not be a fucking Hall of Famer. Neither should Chris fucking Algieri. Let's be honest, the Boxing Hall of Fame isn't prestigious like the MLB or NFL. But in truth, it should be more prestigious, right? Because you can understand more people from baseball and football getting into the Hall of Fame than boxers, right? To become a boxer who gets into the Hall of Fame, you should have to have actually accomplished something considerable, right? But we'll, of course, talk about more of this moving forward, showing some examples and breaking down other people's opinions. Beating 4 different champs to get undisputed should always get considered to be a Hall of Famer. But assisted routes of undisputed like Haney, no thanks. Broner, Thurman, Porter, Spence, none of them are Hall of Famers. I agree. AB best win was against an old Paulie who I thought he barely beat. And Paulie, who I think at one point when he was a champion, wasn't even considered a top 10 welterweight. That tells you everything you need to know about him. Drunk Irishman facts. Porter has 2 successful title offenses against Alexander and Paulie. Title defenses. title defenses. Was he a world champion at that point? I don't think so, but I could be wrong. What does a Hall of Fame resume look like at Canelo, Usyk, Donaire, etc.? That's a Hall of Fame resume. Exactly. But let's jump to this little PowerPoint right here that I put up, and we can break it down and see what other people are saying. Like for me, this just shows you Bud Crawford is a real fucking straight up dude, right? You may not agree with his opinions, but he ain't fucking bashful about telling you what he thinks with his recent statement about how he just doesn't like Tank Davis. And now him saying that Errol Spence isn't a Hall of Famer. I don't think these are wild takes. They're his opinion. You don't have to agree with them, but he's entitled to his opinion. He's involved in the sport. He knows a lot more about, truthfully, what goes on than you and I do. So in that case, you can't dismiss his opinion completely either. Porter also has one successful WBC title defense versus Ugis. Even though if that was a successful title defense, you're making my points. I heard Crawford is bulking up a lot, looking big. I haven't seen him lately. What is the criteria to qualify as a Hall of Famer? Well, that's the situation, right? I think it's not specifically a criteria. The fact that Andre Ward qualified to the Hall of Fame before James Toney kind of tells you everything you need to know, because there's no way Andre Ward's career was more successful than James Toney's. He doesn't have nearly as fucking good of a resume. He hasn't accomplished nearly as much as James Toney did, right? Not to say that Andre Ward shouldn't be a Hall of Famer, but to get voted in before James Toney, that's the issue. It seems as if the Hall of Fame is more about, my favorite fighter type of thing more than anything. Is Nonito a forced ballot Hall of Famer? He should be. Four-weight world champion, multiple-time bantamweight champion, I think 3-time bantamweight champion. Obviously, a lot of champions on his resume, right? Even the guys he lost to, guys like Rigo, Nicholas Walters, Anui, quality fighters. Angry Mexican depends on who on the ballot. Tony Cotto weren't first ballot, but Donaire definitely going in the Hall of Fame. And how does Cotto not get into in the first ballot? I like Ward, but James Toney had a better career. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. It just makes you question exactly how these people come up and if there's a set criteria, right? I mean, if guys like Pazienza and guys like Gaddy got in. I mean, people complain that Rocky Balboa got in, but we understand why Sylvester Stallone got in. Not because he's a fucking boxer, but because of the prestige he brought to the sport of boxing, right? He helped boxing a lot more than most boxers have, just based on the movies he produced. So, that's why he got in. Just like, obviously cutmen and media people and trainers and promoters, they're getting in, but they weren't fighters. They're getting in for different reasons. So we understand that. But let's click through this and see what I got here. So right here, Spence has better wins than Cotto. Really? So Terrence Crawford, obviously on that pound for pound show, came out and made this comment. And then this is one person, Brew Millionaire, who came out and he said, someone asked Terrence Crawford if Marvin Hagler and Sugar Ray Leonard both in the Hall of Fame. But why are we comparing fucking Errol Spence to Marvin Hagler and Sugar Ray Leonard? Sugar Ray Leonard is a 5-weight world champion. Marvin Hagler obviously is one of the top middleweights in history who has wins against multiple Hall of Fame fighters. Errol Spence doesn't have any of those accolades. They say he had 3 belts, non-vacant, but it was all in-house PBC belts. Waited 5 years before he fought a legitimate fighter in fucking Terrence Crawford and got his ass beat up. 6 title defenses in 7. 6 title defenses, 7 in total. What is 6 title defenses, 7 in total? How do you have 6 title defenses but 7 in total? Beat potentially 3 Hall of Famers. Potentially 3 Hall of Famers. What 3 Hall of Famers did fucking Errol Spence beat? Cal Brook is going to be a Hall of Famer. Sean Porter, who got beat by Cal Brook, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. Danny Garcia. Oh, Danny Garcia never beat fucking anyone at 147 pounds. What's his best win at 147? Who did he beat? Every time he fought a fucking ranked fighter at 147, he got beat. Thurman, Porter, Spence. Like, he got beat by all of them. And it wasn't even fucking close. Sold over 2 million pay-per-views. Who gives a fuck about that? What does that have to do with being in the Hall of Fame? So that means Jake Paul is in the Hall of Fame. Jake Paul, because he sold more pay-per-views than fucking Errol Spence has sold. Like, this is the mentality, unfortunately, that some people bring into the sport. They're stupid. Stupid as fuck. Don't know what they're talking about. Literally, they're just fanboys. You'd think Marvin Hagler wouldn't get in losing to Sugar Ray Leonard? Listen to this baseless shit. So, Marvin Hagler losing to Sugar Ray Leonard in a very competitive, controversial fight is not like fucking Errol Spence getting his ass flattened fucking all over the ring and beaten the fuck up. It's quite the difference. Quite the difference. Trying to compare them, it's like, are you mental? What's wrong with you? These people are stupid as fuck, man, with these kind of comparisons. Young Guns, thank you very much. Rank Ward, Calzaghe, Tony, who's better of the 3? To be fair, I'm not a fan of any of them. Calzaghe was a runner and a slapper. Ward was an old school, ugly fucking interior fighter that was just not pleasant to watch. And James Toney was similar, right? So in truth, I don't really like any of them. I pick Roy Jones over all 3 fucking every day of the fucking week. But if I needed to put these 3 in order, I would say it's tough, eh? Calzaghe, unfortunately, didn't have a lot of the big names on his resume, but neither did Ward. So I don't think you can criticize Calzaghe's resume and hype up Ward's. So I would put Calzaghe over Ward. Tony obviously lost early to Roy Jones. Was an underdog who got lucky against Michael Nunn. So I'd probably sell Calzaghe, Ward, and Tony. But what Tony did was take more chances than any of them. And because of that, he's got some really unsuspected wins at heavyweight and some other weight divisions. And obviously some historical fights that Calzaghe and Ward don't have. So based on his overall resume, I kind of put him above both of them. But as far as skills to pay the bills, no, I guess he was good. But stylistically, he was undisciplined, fat, fucking, and I think he hurt himself because of that. Jay Perez is in the house. Spence doesn't have a better win. Who? Danny Garcia, who did nothing at 147. His last legitimate win was 2013 with Lucas Matias. Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia. Spence has had probably more car accidents in the last 10 years than fights. I shot Brandon Rios. Spence was so overrated. Danny beat Bam Bam Rios and Robert the Ghost Guerrero at 147. Yeah, neither welterweights. Hagler, undisputed champion, 14 title defenses, and had wins against ATJ fighters. ATG. Justin Trouble says, "Hey Sean, been listening to you for years. I'm black, and you are all right with me." Well, thanks, buddy. As I say, I'm not trying to hate on Black Americans. Unfortunately, a lot of the biggest channels on YouTube that have real fucking racial fucking opinions that are dividing are Black American channels. So, you respond to them. But obviously you don't paint with a brush and say everybody is the same. That's only John Boxing that says that. His opinion is all Black Americans' opinions, apparently. Just like my opinion is all white people's opinion. Sean, been a Ward hater since the beginning. It's not that I'm a hater. I just never really fucking liked Ward's style. Going to the Super 6 tournament, I preferred Durrell. If Durrell wouldn't have got hurt with that late punch by Arthur Abram, I think he would have fucking won. Stylistically, he was a way better fighter to watch than Andre Ward, way more exciting. Unfortunately, that was the end of his career. He never did anything after that, unfortunately. Ward got Dawson. He drained Dawson. Kovalev beat him the first time. Froch, who was a good fighter, right? That's what Froch is, a good fighter. So okay. So that's his great resume right there. You listed 3 fighters. One who he drained from 175, wouldn't go up to try to become a world champion at that weight, rather drain his ass all the way down and ruin Dawson's career. Kovalev, who beat him and got robbed the first time, and then Carl Froch, who he refused to fucking rematch. If that's the best you can do, as you can see, there's question marks fucking with all those. Even against the average fighters like Garcia and Porter, he struggled, and he gets destroyed by Crawford. Destroyed. James Toney ate his way out of boxing. Yes, he did. He's his worst enemy, fucking for sure. Thoughts on Bud disrespecting Pacquiao in the interview? I didn't hear that part, but I mean, I don't think that's the first time he disrespected Pacquiao. I mean, to be truthful, if he only would have disrespected Pacquiao, there'd be channels all over YouTube, the usual suspects, who would be using Bud Crawford's narrative to shit on Pacquiao. The only reason they're going to be upset is because he shit on Spence, right? And that's going to make them ignore the whole Pacquiao situation. Crawford is a Hall of Famer for sure, but not Spence. I like Froch, though. Froch is an exciting style, but the guy was fucking slow as fuck, one-dimensional, right? What he had was a fucking granite jaw and good power. But calling him the Cobra? He was never the Cobra. Angry Mexican says, even though Hagler is a legend, his best wins are against welterweights and a lightweight. He lost Sugar Ray Leonard, who was 3 years inactive and moved up 3 weight divisions. Yeah, and that's why when people shit on Golovkin and say that I can't compare Golovkin to Hagler, I scratch my head and think, what are you talking about? When you look at B-Hop, Hagler, and Golovkin, their careers are very similar, right? Hagler wouldn't get big fights early on in his career, was ducked and dodged fucking for years. B-Hop fucking had to come up the hard way, didn't get opportunities as well. Golovkin was tied together to a German promoter who wouldn't give him big fights. Very similar. Not until later in their careers did they get opportunities to become world champions, right? And then at that point, their best fights were against smaller fighters moving up, right? Identical. But yet, you can't compare Golovkin to those two because that's racist. How the fuck's it racist to compare fighters? It's not racist to compare fighters. It'd be racist if I said fucking Golovkin's better than fucking B-Hop and Hagler because he's white, and we know whites are better than fucking blacks. If I said that, like John Boxing would say, and the LDBC would say, that would be racist. I wouldn't say that because that's fucking stupid. It has nothing to do with the color of their skin. They're great middleweights who were in very similar circumstances, weren't able to really make a name for themselves until later in their careers. All fucking 3 of them. Very similar. And James Toney had a big win at cruiserweight. I forgot the guy's name. Yeah, Jirov. That's why, I said he had some great wins later on in his career. Jirov was like fight of the year, right? Jirov, who was a cruiserweight world champion and I think an Olympian. Ward deserves some hate. He's overrated. His best win is the loss to Kovalev, and he's very corny. And fucking always goes race. Always. I was a big B-Hop fan, right? Because I was young and the whole shtick with the 2 guys with the axes and the mask, everything else, it's like WWE. So I bought into it, even though stylistically he wasn't the most exciting fighter. And then obviously I saw him fight Roy Jones and Roy beat him. But, at least I became familiar with B-Hop at that point and saw him move on in his career. But just like B-Hop, those two dudes always fucking relate to race whenever they feel they're not getting the just due, right? Always pull the race card, constantly. Floyd versus Sugar Ray, who wins? Sugar Ray. Even though I think Sugar Ray is just naturally bigger. He's longer, just as fast, more power, able to adjust. We never really got to see Floyd adjust. So, I can't give him compliments on something I never noticed. Yeah, that's right. But let's move further through this. So here's the crux of what Errol Spence did in his title run. So he beat Cal Brook in 2017. Cal Brook, who we saw already had a loss when he moved up to fight Golovkin at middleweight. So literally he had to come down 2 weight divisions to fight Spence. Didn't get an opportunity to get a interim fight to sort of get back to the weight naturally and bring it down and get some rounds in. No. They forced the fight because he was a mandatory. And of course, people loved it. They loved the opportunity to give him a belt based on fighting a guy who had just had a broken orbital bone and had to come down 2 weight divisions. Then he fought Lamont Peterson, a guy that was never a fucking elite welterweight. He wasn't even an elite fucking 140 pounder. Had some good fights, some good wins. Also caught fucking using steroids. Then you had Carlos Ocampo, cherry pick fucking fight, literally cherry pick. And then Mikey Garcia, a guy he pulled up fucking 2 weight divisions. But Mikey was going for greatness, right? Right there, you have the title victory and then 3 title offenses. Not one legitimate fucking welterweight in his first 3 title defenses. Then he fought Sean Porter. Hooray! We praise that because that is easily the best win on Errol Spence's resume. And that was a unification fight, solid opponent. And Errol Spence was losing that fight. If he didn't get that late knockdown, he would have probably lost to Sean Porter in that fight. Sean Porter, who I just told you is not a Hall of Famer and has lost, never really had a successful fucking career as a champion. Then split decision, right? He would have lost that fight if he didn't get that knockdown. Then he fought Danny Garcia. Sure, you can say that the Danny Garcia, the Ugis fights all came after the car accident. But once again, whose fucking fault was that? That's no one else's fault except Errol Spence's fault. If he ruined his career because he was too busy partying and fucking drinking, not being professional enough, even though at this point, the only thing he'd accomplished was becoming a fucking champion and fighting Sean Porter in a unification fight, that was the most legitimate win of his career. We can say, okay, both Cal Brook and Sean Porter, legitimate wins, 2 champions. And then you fought Danny Garcia, who never beat any legitimate fighters at welterweight. And then you beat Ugis, Ugis beat Manny Pacquiao, a 42 fucking year old Manny Pacquiao. Oh, so he must be legitimate, right? This is the same guy that ducked mandatory with Bud Crawford to fucking become a WBA regular champion. So literally this guy had an opportunity to fight Bud Crawford for the WBO title. He fucking ducked Crawford to become a WBA regular champion. And then he fought Crawford and got fucking flatlined. I mean, this is not a Hall of Fame fucking career. The hype, the pay-per-view, this is literally the PBC. They hyped this guy up based on very fucking little. His run as a champion, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 title defenses. You have 6 title defenses. You beat 3 world champions. And then in your 7th title defense against your 4th world champion, you literally got your ass fucking beat and sent into retirement, right? That's what happened. You might not like it, but that doesn't mean it's fucking not true. Ward is a more athletic, faster version of B-Hop. I don't even know that, if that's true. Hopkins said Roy Jones' hand speed is the first fight was damn near unseeable. Yeah, for sure. Cal Brook also got his face broken by Golovkin. Prime Book beats Crawford and Spence. Sean won't never give a brother a break. Boss Desk, What did I just say that was not true? You just saw his resume. What about that resume screams fucking Hall of Famer? I will show you some resumes later, and you tell me how his resume is better. But okay, because of course you're pulling the race card. Mikey Garcia, this is a black guy that fucking criticized him. Bud Crawford. I'm just fucking looking at what Crawford said and breaking it down. You disagree? You disagree. Mikey Garcia had a better resume than Spence. I thought that was the best version of Spence when he beat Peterson. Boss desk. We move forward. So let's look at Crawford, because ironically enough, people came at Crawford based on this and shit on his career and what he's done. But look at what he's done compared to Spence. He won his first world title in 2014, facing a Ricky Burns who was not coming off of a broken fucking orbital bone, coming down in weight. He literally went to Scotland to face Ricky Burns in Ricky Burns' hometown, then faced Gamboa, who was unbeaten, Beltran, who became a champion after this fight, Delorme, Dirigeant, Henry Lundy, not bad opponents, but obviously just title defenses. Then Victor Postal, right? A guy that Danny Garcia ducked blatantly, and a guy that destroyed fucking Matias way more fucking decisively than Danny did, right? And then went on and fought really legitimate fighters and held his own, even well past his best when he fought guys like Ramirez and what's his face? Then he faced John Molina Jr., Felix Diaz, Olympian, Julius fucking Ndongo, who was a unified champion. Yes, I said Julius Ndongo. It was what it was. Beating Julius Ndongo did not make you pound for pound number one fighter in boxing. But that's what people were saying back then, of course, because Crawford was black and they wanted a black, undisputed number one pound for pound fighter after Andre Ward retired. Then he moved up because Spence ducked him to face Jeff Horn, who had just beaten Manny Pacquiao. You can say that it was a robbery and a terrible decision, but if you go back and look at Jeff Horn's resume, he beat Manny Pacquiao to become a WBO champion. That's why Terence Crawford fought him. Terence Crawford would have preferred it to be Manny Pacquiao, but unfortunately, that's not the way the cards fucking were made. Then he fought undefeated Jose Benavidez, got fucking ripped because Benavidez' leg was shot. Even though Benavidez went on and was very competitive with fighters many years later. Then he fought Amir Khan. Then he fought Kavaliauskas. The same fucking Kavaliauskas that Bud Crawford fought, at this point, undefeated, was his mandatory, went on to have really quality fights afterwards, showing you he's a tough motherfucker. Then he fought Kell Brook, Sean Porter, destroyed Sean Porter, Avician, who obviously, had some solid, successful wins on his resume, and then fought Errol Spence, destroyed him, then moved up to his fourth weight division and beat world champion Israel Madrimov, who obviously just got beat by Virgil Ortiz as well. So his resume, his accomplishments, the amount of title defenses and world champions he's fought way fucking outweigh Errol Spence, and it's not even close. So when he says that Errol Spence is not a Hall of Famer, it's because he feels he's really come through and done a lot. Errol Spence hasn't. And that's his opinion. Are you going to see Haney versus Ryan rematch? Do you think Haney can beat Ryan this time? I felt confident that Haney could beat Ryan the first time, and I felt that he won the first fight as well. I don't think it was a draw. I felt he did win. The second time around, I'm not so sure. Obviously, when we watch him against Ramirez, that's going to tell us something, because Ramirez also has a good left hand. He's also a big fella with experience and power, but he's a lot slower than Ryan Garcia. So obviously they are different, but we don't know what Devin Haney's going to be like after that fight against Ryan Garcia. he might be shell-shocked, right? Chinny, right? We have to wait and see. Joker for the MVP, I think so. Did you see that pass yesterday? Fuck. The dude is going to be only the third player in NBA history to go the full season with a triple-double. Oscar Robertson, Westbrook, and now Joker. And Joker's a center doing it, right? Getting that many assists, he's probably going to be third in points, third in rebounds. I think he's easily going to be second. But, regardless, if you're in the top three in those three categories, fucking Christ, man. Like he said it recently, I'm playing the best basketball of my career. And who can argue? He's just got his 30th triple-double of the season. His 30th triple-double of the season. That's more games than fucking Embiid has played all season. Don't hate, I do. So do you think Ramirez can upset Haney? Well, I don't think so. He's a little too slow, right? But it'll be interesting to see how Haney can deal with his left hand. Obviously, it's good practice to deal with the left hand. Even as I said, his left hand is not nearly as explosive as Ryan Garcia's. Bud said Canelo fight is the biggest fight to make in the sport. Do you see Canelo versus Bud doing more pay-per-views than Tank and Ryan? Oh, yes, way more. The difference is, if the rumors are true, it's not going to be pay-per-view. It's going to be on Netflix. And you can look forward to that fucking fight doing millions and millions and millions of views on Netflix. That shit's going to do huge numbers. And I think even if it was on DAZN, it would still do more fucking pay-per-views than 1.3. It's just a way bigger fight. Joker, a top 15 player of all time already. Moses Malone, I think, would have bodied Joker. Well, let's be honest. Moses Malone wasn't covering anybody at the three-point fucking lane. Moses Malone wasn't picking up anybody half court, bringing the ball fucking down the court, leading the offense, right? Against Moses Malone, Joker could stay on the outside, playing high pick and roll and fucking hit dudes backdoor all day. Moses Malone was going to get beaten because he was not comfortable stepping outside of the fucking key. But I love Moses because I was a Philadelphia 76ers fan when he said, what was it? Fee, fi, fo, fum. I was excited. I love that Dr. J was able to get a fucking NBA championship. Thank you very much, Moses Malone. Joker might be top 5 all-time center already. Sean, you felt Haney versus Garcia was a draw? No, I felt that Devin Haney won. Obviously, the knockdowns and stuff, I thought, okay, maybe it's a draw. But I did think that Devin Haney edged it because I think in the rounds he didn't get hurt or knocked down, he won. And that was the majority of the rounds. I think, 4 rounds that I gave Ryan Garcia, which mean I gave Devin Haney 8 rounds, or maybe it was 7-5. But yeah, as I said, you're watching it. I'm not scoring it on the cards, but I felt Devin Haney won the fight. I mean, if Pacquiao could knock down Marquez 3 times and still the fight was a draw, I mean, Virgil Ortiz is ducking Murtazaliev. No, he's not. Man, David, don't be like those fucking dudes. Don't be like a John Boxing and a fucking Dante Boxing. Dude, you're too white to be a fucking hater. Don't be like them. You don't need to be pushing that kind of bullshit. Because this dude's doing everything he needed in the sport. Literally, he was going to fight fucking Tim Tszyu on the undercard of Bud Crawford Madrimov. Then he called out Boots Ennis after his last fight. Those dudes are the ones that ducked him. Why am I tripping, boss? Like, let's be real. These same guys had no problem. I thought Ryan won easily. How did he win easily, though? What rounds did he win if he didn't hurt Devin Haney? He looked fucking like he had no energy, wasn't able to land any fucking punches, couldn't do anything in the ring. But every time he landed a left, Devin Haney got hurt. And that wasn't fucking more than 5 rounds. But to be fair, Tank is a yes man for the PBC, so there you go. Dante's Boxing Nation upset because Virgil did better than Bud against Madrimov. Exactly. Exactly. Like, he had no problem with Funduro fighting a cherry picked bum opponent after being out of the ring for fucking 1 year. Right? That's the irony. These dudes are going to fucking not say anything about Funduro fighting a bum ass opponent in his last fight, literally after being out of the ring for a fucking year. Whereas, look at the fucking fighters that Ortiz has come in the ring with, and the ones he was scheduled to fight who ducked him. Tim Tszyu ducked him, Boots Ennis ducked him. Sorry, that's the way it is. Right? So to fucking shit on him and say, oh, he's got to fight Charles Conwell. That's John Boxing, because of course John fucking, it has to be a black fighter, right? Even though at least Dante's being rational. He's talking about him fighting a world champion. John, of course, fucking not even talking about Murtazaliev, because of course Murtazaliev doesn't fucking fulfill his black dominance fucking narrative. But leave Tank alone, man. Yeah, Tank got enough problems. We don't need to fucking put more on his plate. Sean, they most have poor vision insurance in Taiwan if you don't think Devin won. If you think Devin won. No, you're not listening. Come on, man. Go back and watch the fight. You tell me what rounds Ryan Garcia won where he didn't knock fucking Devin Haney down. Or I think it was 1 round, maybe 2 rounds, where he hurt him, didn't drop him, but landed a significant left hand that you could see hurt Devin Haney. And those rounds, just because you land 1 punch doesn't necessarily mean you win. So in truth, it could have been 3 fucking definite rounds that Ryan Garcia won, and every other round was up in the air. Ryan Garcia did not look good. Go watch that fight again. He looked like shit. The dude looked like he had no gas tank. He wasn't able to fucking land a jab. Couldn't land a right hand. He did not look good at all. That's why I felt, fuck, man, this version of Ryan Garcia just looks like shit. Fucking mental case, motherfucker. I think Virgil only wanted to fight Ennis after Ennis started to look human. No. Like, literally, he's called out every single fighter in and around fucking that division. He was going to fight Stanionis before that. Like, he's fucking up for the challenges, man. To criticize him when the rest of those guys in the division aren't really doing fucking anything. Tim Tszyu is fucking in the PBC fucking protection plan, going to fight bum-ass fucking Spence next. Spencer, whatever his name is. Fucking Funduro was gifted a fucking decision he didn't deserve coming off of a loss that Tim Tszyu was supposed to get knocked out by Boholchuk, but got lucky because Keith Thurman pulled out. He ended up getting a victory by fucking elbowing Tim Tszyu in the face, and then went 1 year not even doing anything, blatantly ducking Bud Crawford for unification. I mean, come on. My dream fight is Madrimov versus Karen. I don't know about dream fight, but it's probably not a bad fight. Dante's Boxing Nation and Bud Buddies claim Madrimov was better than Bivol, Golovkin, and Canelo. Then Bud beat him, but they won't give Virgil credit for beating him. Exactly. That's the problem when you fucking talk out your ass like that. Just be honest. Madrimov was a difficult style. He was a guy that stayed in the outside, wouldn't commit to his punches, made it difficult for Bud Crawford to counterpunch him. Bud didn't want to be overly aggressive, so he wasn't that effective either. He still did enough to win, but he did worse than fucking Ortiz did, who doesn't mind initiating more than Crawford did. And because of that, he had more success. Yes, Virgil does move better than all those guys. If Keith versus Tszyu happens this year, I'm taking Keith. At this point, yeah, I'm taking Keith too. I'd be shocked if Tim Tszyu can get back to who he was heading into the Funduro fight. Me too. But he ain't going all in, it seems like. I don't know what it is. Who ain't going all in? Ortiz? Before all this negativity about him not wanting to fight, Murtazaliev popped up. There was speculation that they were negotiating with Murtazaliev. So that's why I'm never quick to fucking jump on people, because who knows what happened in the whole contract conversation. right? It's like why I don't hate on Boots Ennis for not taking the fight. If he would have took fucking Teo fight, then I would have fucking hated on him. But the fact he's fighting Stanionis for unification, I have to say, okay. But Funduro, fuck man, come on. But he ain't going all in. I suppose you mean Virgil. Virgil versus Ramos Jr. is an excellent fight. Well, at 154 pounds, there's tons of fucking guys. I think Virgil stops Boots. Really? Whoa. I never said that. One time is back. He sounds so corny. Who? One time? Thurman? Fuck. Thurman always fucking sounds corny. Even his win recently, I mean, he fought fucking a bum ass of fucking opponent. So, how much credit are you going to give him for that? Not fucking much. Let's look at some of these comments. These are what people on IBFP had to say about Bud Crawford, because there's a lot of hating motherfuckers out there, right? So, and most of these guys are huge Canelo Alvarez fans. And I got no problem with Canelo Alvarez fans. But just because you're a Canelo fan doesn't mean you need to fucking roll like the LDBC. You need to fucking hate on all black fighters just because you support a Mexican. Just like if you support fucking Bud, you don't have to fucking hate on every fucking non-black fighter just because you support Bud Crawford. But Dr. Eduardo says Bum Crawford got one of the most overrated trash resumes in boxing. But Bum IQ Glazes will tell you poor Bud deserves some of those. So I don't know how anyone says that Bud's resume is overrated, because mostly he's been getting his resume shit on by Errol Spence fanboys for 5 fucking years. And now Errol Spence fans are once again shitting on his resume, and apparently Canelo Alvarez fans. So when he beats Canelo, if he beats Canelo, you're going to look fucking mighty stupid. You're going to look mighty fucking stupid. Best resume. Romaro says Bum Crawford spent 10 years versus undersized 135, 140 bums, 5 years versus half-retired, washed-up, crippled opponents, and the last 2 years clout chasing Canelo. Right? Like, this is no different than a lot of the hate people throw towards Canelo Alvarez. Right? That's why I look at these kind of people. I'm like, do you call yourself a real boxing fan? Can't you just fucking have a less fucking antagonistic opinion? Chet Cummings says it's funny how Bud calls Earl a hype job created by the media, even though that's exactly what he is as well. Well, no, he's not. Errol Spence is a one-weight world champion who only fought fucking PBC fighters on pay-per-view. That's not what Bud Crawford is. Bud Crawford stepped up, moved up a weight division, fought Bradis Prescott in a fight nobody fucking anticipated him taking, which was too dangerous because this was the same Bradis Prescott that had just knocked out fucking Amir Khan, right? And from there, he worked his way in to mandatory opportunities, traveled overseas to fucking win a world title. Yes, I know Spence did the same thing too, but the guy he traveled overseas to wasn't coming off a fucking loss. Bud is a good fighter with a bad resume. His best win is not good. He is not a pound for pound fighter. Not pound for pound. Come on, Rafael Santos. What are you talking about? Crawford has a Hall of Fame skills, but not a Hall of Fame resume. Well, today, in modern boxing, who has Hall of Fame fucking resumes? And we'll go back and we'll look at Hagler and we'll look at Sugar Ray Leonard. And then you fucking take what you said right there and fucking say it again. Because we can poke holes in Leonard and Hagler's resume as well. And we will. That's coming next. Bruce Banter says, Bud's resume is always being called into question. People need to understand that he's also a media-created great. Media-created. Being an undisputed champion in multiple weight divisions, being a 4-weight world champion, that's no different than the reason people hype up Canelo Alvarez, who also is an undisputed champion and a 4-weight world champion. Or the way people hype up Inouye, who's also a 4-weight world champion and a 2-weight undisputed champion. Or the way people hype up Usyk, who's a 2-weight undisputed champion. These guys get hyped up because they're fucking putting in the work, getting the fucking accolades. Something every other fighter in boxing isn't doing. That's why they're not pound for pound. Crawford just cooked himself and he didn't even know it. Bud's resume sucks. His best win is trash. His best win is trash. Errol Spence win definitely was not trash. It was one of the, if not the best win of that year, it was the second best win. If it's not his win against Spence, a dominant, destructive performance, then it was fucking Inui's performance against Fulton, which obviously aged better than Bud Crawford's because Fulton is now a world champion. Errol Spence is still a fucking, trash talking fucking social media guy. No, Oscar. Tim Tszyu and Keith Thurman play out like Costa Tszyu Judah, with Tim being Costa and Thurman being Zab. Oscar is corny. That Dr. Eduardo dude is crazy. Crawford's resume isn't trash. It's rat-infested, toxic waste barrel juice. IBFB ditties are so cringe. I listened to some of the Canelo interview. He sounded like a duck saying Benavidez is rude and hasn't done anything. Well, to be fair, David Benavidez hasn't fucking done anything. And we see exactly what route he's going now with Bivol. He'd prefer that fucking the WBC strips Bivol so he can continue to fucking do nothing. And then they're going to fucking use him being the WBC champion to fucking push him on pay-per-view, because the PBC literally has nobody else to push on pay-per-view outside of fucking Tank Davis, who's going to retire, and fucking David Benavidez. It's a sad existence if you hold your fucking career all based on PBC events. Canelo fans are trashing Bud, yet want us to give Canelo full credit for beating Crawford 20 pounds away from his best weight. Exactly. And I'm not hating on Canelo because he didn't ask for this fight. Actually, he said, I don't really want it because it's not really even worth fucking making. But when you get paid $100 million to make it, you say, fuck, okay, let's do it. But the truth is, he ain't going to get credit for beating Crawford, right? And if he gets beat by Crawford, he's going to get punked like fucking crazy by these fucking haters. So, it's a no-win situation for Canelo Alvarez. So you might as well at least hype up Bud Crawford now. So if you beat him, at least you can fucking justify the victory. And if you lose to him, you could say, we told you he was fucking superstar. Since the Bivol fight, Canelo's list of opponents has been C-level lackluster. True. Sean, can Canada and U.S. reconcile their differences? Oh, people are such fucking idiots. Come on, man. It ain't a big deal. Like, I just saw on Reddit a bunch of fucking mental case Canadians. I don't understand. Even before this whole situation, all these woke fucking Canadians, all in my Facebook, family and friends, these people are more fucking caught up in fucking Trump derangement syndrome, than they fucking worried about fucking 9 years under fucking Trudeau, who ruined our country. Canada is the worst fucking G8 country in the world as far as economy and everything else. We've dropped so fucking low. Our taxes are so high. It's impossible for Canadians to fucking live in the country. What Trump is doing is what he's doing for everyone. He wants to fucking negotiate fair deals for the states with everyone, which means fair deals, which we all know the states were getting railroaded consistently. Canada gets defended by the U.S. Canada's military is fucking dropped off. They don't spend any money in military anymore. All their fucking boats and planes and tanks, everything are fucking 25 years old, right? Because they don't need a military. Yet all these people want to fucking always cry and moan about fucking Trump. But yet when the fucking American government pushes the states and the economy is booming, Canada's going to fucking be begging to fucking get scraps off the table. Begging. Where are we? I follow IBFP, and I don't think IBFP a Canelo fanboy because he didn't bash Canelo too. Well, I like IBFP, but he is a Canelo fanboy. Come on. That's just fucking a complete truth. He bashed on Canelo versus Jake Paul if it did happen. Well, he had to. If you didn't bash that, you would look even more like a fucking nut hugger. I defend Canelo like crazy. And even that fight, I said I understand why it would happen, but fucking, I don't think anybody wants it to happen. Uh, I'm happy Bud Crawford's happening so that we don't have to worry about the Jake Paul fight. We can't say Benavidez hasn't done anything when Canelo is fighting the likes of Berlanga, Munguia, and Ryder. Yet Berlanga, Munguia, and Ryder are better opponents than mostly everybody that fucking David Benavidez has fought. David Morrell hasn't done anything more than fucking Ryder, Berlanga, or Munguia. Actually, he's done less than fucking all three of them. I mean, Andrade didn't do anything at 168 pounds. He literally did less than fucking all of them. The only name on his resume who's done more than those guys is Caleb Plant. Yet Canelo Alvarez already fucking knocked out Caleb Plant before he fought him. So who is he fighting, and what have they done more than Berlanga and fucking Munguia? Right now, Berlanga and Munguia are two of the top fighters in the division, and everybody would love a fight with either one of them because it would probably be their biggest payday. Yes, exactly. Crawford is the one that sold out himself. It just seems like when it comes to Benavidez, it's always obstacles. It's not that always obstacles. It's just he is not fucking above anybody else. And if you want to fucking be a PBC fanboy and have me kowtow to you, don't be surprised when fucking you don't get the fight. Deontay Wilder will return to face Terrell Herndon in a heavyweight clash June 27th in Wichita, Kansas. Talk about fucking bum fights. What the fuck is that? What's he going to get paid? $40,000? Spencer ain't have a Hall of Fame career. No, he hasn't. $50 says John Boxing going to do a video title. Will say if Spence not a Hall of Famer, neither is GG. Watch. Of course he's going to. But don't worry, I'm going to address that in this video. Literally, he's going to make it sound like people fanboy Golovkin that are hating on Spence. Yet this guy talked about how Golovkin hasn't been a Hall of Famer for fucking the last 10 years. But was all over Deontay Wilder's jock. The same Deontay Wilder who has 4 losses now, got knocked out multiple times, and fucking his best win is still a 50-year-old fucking Cuban. I don't see how a small, inactive 38-year-old Bud beats Canelo. Viva Mexico. Viva Mexico. I think Canelo would knock out Bud, but it would be happy if I'm wrong. I just think if Crawford's legs are good, he could beat Canelo in a similar fashion to Bivol. And kind of like even Kovalev was winning that fight early on. The problem is he's older and he's putting on weight. So I think his legs are going to be stiff like fucking Tommy Hearns. And if that's the case, he's probably going to fucking get knocked out. But honestly, I'd rather support IBFP better than those hypocrite LDBCs. Me too. As I said, I don't hate on IBFP, but I don't have to agree with everyone's fucking take. I don't have a problem with True School, but fucking I don't have to agree with his fucking crazy fucking anti fucking Turkey al Sheikh fucking crazy shit either. People say Benavidez was ducking Morrell for a few years. He fights him. Now he's raw. He was ducking him. They were supposed to do a fight before the Andrade fight. And the videos are all out there where fucking his manager is talking about the fight. And then David comes out and says, no, if you didn't hear from me, then it ain't true. Those guys contradict themselves fucking every day. Always. It's like when he ducked Plant for years when they should have fought for a unification fight. And his manager came out and said, oh, we're going to fucking let it ride so it'll be worth more money. Oh, yeah, good. It's worth more money, but no world titles. Fuck, that worked out well. You would have ended up getting a Canelo Alvarez fight if you beat him and you were a unified champion. Canelo would have fought you back then. But okay. But that mentality, what did it do? It cost you fucking money. Now all you're doing is fucking dick riding, clout chasing Canelo Alvarez like crazy, which makes you look fucking pathetic. Kansas is like the most boring state in our country. Nothing but wheat fields. Morrell, Cruz, Iglesias are young pros, but those are real dudes. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I like all the young guys at 168 pounds. The Guatemalan kid who just fought, works with Bud Crawford and others. That argument has legs. Spence's best wins definitely rival GG's best wins. Andy Cruz. Andy Cruz, he ain't like those guys, though. He's a boring fucking defensive first fighter. Sean, deep down, definitely hopes Canelo wins. He doesn't want to hear it from John Boxing. To be fair, the only reason I wouldn't want Crawford to win is because of how mental the Canelo hate would get. Because it's mental already, right? And I know if Crawford gets beat, it's not going to be fucking that big of a deal, right? It's not going to fucking be that extent of crazy shit. But if fucking Crawford wins, this is just going to justify these fucking racist pricks from fucking literally hating on everyone. Because they can't win. They can't be good winners, right? We teach this in kindergarten, how to be a good winner. These dudes aren't good winners. They're bad winners and fucking terrible fucking losers. GGG had a bum bashing career. Chava, in saying that, you're fucking ignoring the fact that 8 fucking world champions ducked him, including fucking Canelo, who fucking lost his belt because he ducked Golovkin. Bivol is a way more fluid laterally than Bud. GG is a definite Hall of Famer. Definite. Resume-wise, there isn't much in between Spence and GG. Well, come on. We will look at GG's resume for his title defenses and how many fights he had compared to fucking Errol Spence. You just saw Spence's fucking career. Here it is here. Here's Spence's fucking career right there. Short and sweet. You got before the car crash and then after the car crash. The best fucking names on his resume, Sean Porter, Kell Brook. No one else. No one else is a legitimate welterweight. Ugis, he beat a fucking 42-year-old fucking Manny Pacquiao after ducking Bud Crawford. And then when he faced a legitimate fighter, he literally got his ass beat up. Beat fucking up. In a terrible loss. But the difference is when GGG fought the best guy in Canelo, he arguably won the first time. It was a draw, so it's not a loss. When Spence fought the best guy, he looked pathetic. Exactly. I saw the WBC ranks as 130. Maxai is 2. Rocky Hernandez is 1. Foster already beat that dude. I know. I saw that too, and I didn't understand what he's done to put himself back in the list. How do you call these black dudes racist, but don't label yourself one? Easy. Because I don't fucking hate black boxers. I might hate the fucking narratives these fucking YouTube channels are pushing, but I don't fucking hate black American fighters. I grew up fucking supporting black American fighters, black American college basketball players, black American NBA players, black American football players, black American MLB players. I have no problem with black excellence. But when people are going to push black excellence, but then literally shit on everyone else and literally try to downplay it, debase it, disrespect it, I got to point that shit out and say, you're a fucking hypocrite. Me liking Pacquiao doesn't mean that I'm a racist because I don't like fucking Floyd Mayweather. It means I like Pacquiao. I don't need to fucking like Floyd Mayweather. If you like Floyd Mayweather, good. Good for you. Just like I can like Trump. I don't need to fucking like Biden. It don't make me racist. Young Gun says, you have Foreman top 5 heavyweight ever. Lennox versus Foreman. Lennox, number 1 all time, Canadian. That would be a very interesting fight. I would pick Lennox Lewis to beat Foreman because he was a better boxer, longer, much bigger, taller. But obviously, George Foreman is dangerous. Foreman also had real slow hands. Lennox Lewis was a lot more fluid, right? So I do think Lennox Lewis would beat George Foreman. But George is a tough motherfucker. You could diminish GG's resume the same way you're doing to Spence, though. No, because I'm not diminishing Spence's resume. Spence's resume is this fucking big. He didn't have a long reign as a world champion. He had 7 fights as a champion. One where he got brutally fucking knocked out. And after fucking how long? He still hasn't come back. 2 years now. Right? So he's not even going to come back and become a second-time champion. Golovkin was a unified champion, got beat, and then came back and became a unified champion again. Already, he's fucking far superseded anything Spence has done, because Spence has not even come back and had a successful fight after getting beat by a fucking Crawford. And you never saw fucking Golovkin get knocked out. He never got knocked down. He never got hurt. He got beat in 2 controversial fights, one a draw, one a very close fight. And outside of that, he fought a Hall of Famer in Canelo Alvarez 3 fucking times. Errol Spence fought 1 Hall of Famer in Bud Crawford and fucking literally got sent into retirement. I don't know how you think they're similar, but okay. Lennox Lewis was good, but his chin can be cracked, and I'm sure a prime George Foreman would knock him out. Well, George could knock him out, but, the problem is you still got to land the punch. George Foreman was 6'3". Lennox Lewis was, 6'7"? Lennox Lewis, maybe not that big. Maybe Lennox was 6'5". I can't remember. But Lennox was a big fighter. He's much longer in reach. He had much better, more fluid fucking footwork. He got knocked out by guys he underestimated and then came back and destroyed them in rematches. You do hate Black American fighters. What Black American fighter do I hate, Chava? You sound a lot like John Boxing. Because I don't like a particular fighter doesn't mean I hate on Black American fighters. I could list fucking 40 Black American fighters I fucking supported my whole fucking life as a boxing fan. You couldn't name 40 fucking Mexican fighters you supported in your fucking career. Spence's fanboys only look at highlight names like Mikey and Danny and praise Spence for beating them. Yet they should really be asking, what did Mikey and Danny do at 147? Horn was a better win at 147. Yeah. Horn was a legitimate fucking champion who beat a Hall of Famer. Whether you like that win or not, it is what it is. Lennox lost to Ruddock. He didn't lose to Ruddock, who was really good fighter, but still. Lennox didn't lose to Ruddock. What are you talking about? Sean and Ruddock, Canadian. I met him. Big scary motherfucker. Sean, never going to give EG his credit. Shaking my head. What credit do you want me to give Errol Spence? Errol Spence had a good run, but it was very short and over very quick and very hyped when people fucking were acting like somehow he was a super fighter. Yet what did he do that compares to fucking fighters in the past that was super? You still didn't tell me that he beat fucking Cal Brook, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, and Ugis? Oh, okay. So he's got 4 good wins on his resume. None of whom really are Hall of Fame wins, but 4 good wins. And that's fucking the great career you're fucking telling me about? There's like 100 fighters fucking I could list now with fucking more accomplished resumes than that. And you probably wouldn't like any of them. I've been listening to you for years. You're so hateful towards Black people. Yeah, okay, Chava. You call them sensitive when they respond to criticism because they're the ones putting out criticism constantly. See, this just shows you're fucking an idiot. And we know that. We learned it the other day when you fucking say, oh, yes, I love Black Americans. And then you just came on the channel and said, Viva Mexico. And you're a huge Canelo Alvarez fanboy. But then you're fucking dudes like you, man. Like, what do you think? Someone's going to fucking let you fuck his sister if you say something nice on fucking YouTube? Come on, man. Get a life. It depends if they let Lewis hold. He was doing a lot of holding. Lennox destroyed Ruddock in 2 rounds. Lewis got a gift. Wasn't Errol Spence unified? Yeah, he was unified. And So you become unified instantaneously, you're fucking a Hall of Famer? There's a lot of fucking unified champions who are never going to be fucking Hall of Famers. But okay. You can say Viva Mexico and not be a racist, Sean. Okay, J.A. Lennox Lewis, the best of his generation. That's true. Lennox Lewis, he's black. Oh my God. And I said he's fucking the best of his generation. Zerto unified. He is a Hall of Famer. Exactly, drunk Irishman. You think fucking you can say Zerto's a Hall of Famer? Even though Zerto's career is better than fucking Errol Spence. His loss to fucking Bivol, he didn't get fucking knocked out. He lost to a guy who's a pound for pound fighter who outboxed him, right? Trying to become a 2-weight world champion. Then he moved up to his 3rd weight and now is a unified champion. His resume is fucking way better than Errol Spence. But could you imagine if I made a video saying that Zerto is a future Hall of Famer? John Boxing would literally come out making a fucking hate video shitting on fucking Zerto because Zerto is Mexican. He's an American, but Mexican-American. So if you're a Mexican-American, you're not really American. So let's look at Golovkin's resume because, yes, I know Golovkin, he's so garbage. We always have to compare his resume. You look at his resume compared to fucking Spence. Spence's resume is a third of Golovkin's resume. A third. And then his only losses to both to Canelo Alvarez and one majority decision and one, obviously, the last fight of his career where he was old and well past his best. 2-time unified middleweight champion and a guy that was blatantly ducked by every single fucking middleweight champion during fucking 2013 to 2019. Errol Spence was the one ducking for 5 years. He was the one ducking for 5 years. Oh, sorry. Golovkin ducked Andre Ward. So he ducked a fucking light heavyweight. Okay. He ducked fucking Erislandy Lara. Oh, so he ducked a 154-pound fighter. What middleweight fighters did he duck? We know fucking Sturm, Abraham, fucking Quillen, fucking Cotto, Martinez, fucking Canelo, who fucking lost his title, right? There's a long list of middleweight champions that blatantly fucking ducked. Where's my cord? Come here. Blatantly ducked Golovkin. Asking for $10 million. Billy Joe Saunders, fucking others. Dudes blatantly ducked fucking Golovkin. And yes, you didn't get the win, but just like fucking the great Charlie Burley, let me ask you the question. Drunk Irishman will know this question. Drunk Irishman, is Charlie Burley a Hall of Famer? I assume he's a Hall of Famer, but for a guy who was never a world champion, I'm not sure if he's really a Hall of Famer or not, but maybe you know. Let me know if you know the answer. Sean, is AJ a future Hall of Famer? Of course he is. You going to compare Errol Spence to fucking AJ? Because that's ridiculous. AJ's resume is way better than fucking Errol Spence's. Way better. Way better. And he also came back and became a fucking champion and unified champion again. Right? You should debate Knockout 86 on this. Who has a better resume, GG or Golovkin? Oh my God. Who wants to talk to that fucking guy? He's such a fucking fanboy. You can't even talk to him. And he won't even talk about Spence anymore because he was exposed. So now it's all fucking Tank Davis fucking bullshit. Every fucking video, every fucking day. Come on. When you literally show that you're a fucking fanboy channel, who even wants to fucking talk to you? He's a fanboy channel. That's what he is. That's what his channel has become, a fanboy channel. And when Tank Davis retires, it'll be interesting to see who he's going to fanboy next. I don't know who it's going to be, but you know it's going to be somebody. Viva Mexico. Mexican boxing is the best. European fighters can't compete with Mexicans. Zurdo has a better career than GG. See, you saying that doesn't upset me because I'm not fucking sensitive. I'm not race baiting and shitting on fucking fighters that don't look like me. You could say fucking Zurdo has a better career than GG. I'm not going to fucking lose fucking my feelings over it. It is what it is. That's your opinion. I don't agree with you, but I know you're fucking full of shit because you've already exposed yourself many times. How come Johnny Combat hasn't made a video bashing Tank after that bad performance? You mean which Johnny? Johnny fucking smoking Johnny, fucking bald head Johnny. Isn't he in jail? Highest KO ratio in middleweight history. Yeah, I know. Isn't that what they were praising fucking Wilder for? But for Golovkin, oh no, you can't praise him. Never been knocked down. One of the maybe the best chin in middleweight history, right? Broke B-Hop's record for most middleweight title defenses. And I can say that now because literally John Boxing says that Tank Davis is a 3-weight world champion. So if you can say that fucking Tank Davis is a 3-weight world champion, I can say that fucking Golovkin broke B-Hop's middleweight title defense record because they're all fucking regular WBA titles. I never say Spence is a Hall of Famer. I respect Spence. He's good, but Terrence Crawford is great. John Boxing exposed you years ago with your anti-Terrence Crawford rant. No, what I said, I stick to. I just said it earlier today. Beating Julius Ndongo back in 2017 does not make you pound for pound the number one fighter in boxing. Obviously, John says that in 2024 and can't understand that since fucking this time and this time, Crawford has went on and done far more in his career, which is why I hold him far more esteem now than I did then. That's just normal fucking boxing conversation. Like, if you're such a fucking mental midget that you can't fucking understand that, there's no point even talking to you because you're fucking brain dead. And if you believed anything John Boxing says, who's a blatant liar and has been exposed fucking multiple times, has got roasted on multiple platforms, then okay, be it what it may. I've debated Knockout Boxing on his channel before. I've been on his channel. So I know exactly who he is. When did Sergio Martinez duck Golovkin? Okay, he didn't. Sorry, no. Nobody ducked Golovkin. Golovkin ducked everyone. He's a bitch. Didn't want to fight fucking anyone. Didn't want any smoke. They're calling Tank a Hall of Famer. Tank's not a Hall of Famer either. Not at this point. Even though Tank has done more than fucking Errol Spence. I mean, that tells you everything. Tank Davis has done more than fucking Errol Spence. But he's still not a Hall of Famer based on becoming a 2-weight world champion, never fucking unified. The best names on his resume are Petraza and Leo Santa Cruz. And that's it. That's hardly a fucking Hall of Fame career. I guess you could say fucking Ryan Garcia. But Ryan Garcia has never been a world fucking champion. And the way his career is going, he's never going to be a world champion. So I don't know how much credit you can give him. Knockout Boxing 86 is a disgusting Tank Davis fan. Terrible. Tank and GG have very comparable resumes, except Golovkin did unify. Tank Davis has never unified. Golovkin unified twice. Golovkin fought a Hall of Famer and a pound-for-pound fighter 3 times. Tank Davis has never fought a fucking pound-for-pound fighter. So outside of that, identical. Identical. How do you call someone a fanboy when you are the same? Chava, who do I make videos fanboying every day for? Please educate me. Do Chava come from the LDBC? Of course he does. A black guy pretending to be fucking Mexican. Johnny's in prison, won't be out till December 2026. Fucking John, man. How do you keep fucking yourself over like that? The first Canelo fight really hurt GG's resume. If he got the win he deserves, casuals couldn't say anything. But they still wouldn't give him credit because they fucking literally shit on Canelo Alvarez. So beating Canelo Alvarez obviously isn't that good of a win. You look at John Boxing, who literally fucking says Canelo got no skills. GG does have that record. GG is definitely a future Hall of Famer. Why do you keep talking about John Boxing and those dudes? Are you jealous of them? They don't talk about you. What fighters did GGG beat to become a Hall of Famer? Ah, man. If Chava an alternate account for John Boxing, no, but he's probably an alternate account for somebody else because dudes are fucking mental cases, right? Always fucking fabricating channels just so they can come on a channel to fucking troll, right? It's pathetic, but it tells you a lot about them as people. Not John Boxing. Johnny Boy. Johnny Boy's in prison. John Boxing won't go to prison. He's a family man. Let's look at Wilder's career because I always said, it's ironic that people shit on Golovkin's resume all the time. But then they act like Deontay Wilder was doing great things. When he ended up having 10 title defenses at heavyweight, they made it sound like he was a Hall of Famer because he equaled Muhammad Ali. Even though I think the most heavyweight title defenses is what, 25? So having 10 is fucking not even close to fucking Joe Lewis's 25. And I think Klitschko had 18. Ali has 19 because he had 10 title defenses in the first part of his career, 9 in the second. So, saying he's got the same amount of title defenses as Ali is something a stupid motherfucker would say because anyone that knows the truth knows he's got 19 heavyweight title defenses. But okay, so here's his career. It's better than fucking Errol Spence, longer. The only problem is outside of a victory versus Bermane Stiverne to win a title, a Bermane Stiverne who already got knocked out, and Ortiz, the best fucking win on his resume was a draw with Tyson Fury, right? Then he fucking lost, got knocked out by twice to Fury, got beat by Joseph Parker, a guy that AJ beat, and got fucking beat by fucking Zhilei Zhang, a guy, an unknown fucking German Turkish fighter, just knocked out. And now he's going to fight some unknown bum in fucking Kansas. I mean, even Golovkin was smart enough to get out before lowering himself to this fucking level of opponents, but okay. Sean used to be allies with the LDBC back in the day, believe it or not. I wasn't allies. The LDBC fucking wasn't even around. It's around because of me, so I'm sorry. It's my fault. This is when fucking a guy pulled a gun on me, and then fucking Blood Boxing in 78 felt like they needed to fucking support him and create fucking this radical fucking left-wing woke fucking group of racists. Outside of Canelo, what Mexican fighters do you give attention to? Oh, Chava, you're a fucking moron. People shit on Wilder's resume just as much, if not more, than GG's. Drunk, they would be calling him an ATG. Calling who an ATG? Could you imagine the praise GG would get if he was black? That's true. That's true. You can say that all the time because I just listened to John Boxing today, literally saying same thing Dante says, that black fighters are held to a higher level of criticism and expectations. Yet literally these guys are making videos shitting on Virgil Ortiz. So basically they contradict themselves in the video they make by saying that black fighters are held to a higher level of criticism. Yet fucking Tank Davis is a world, like literally he compares Virgil Ortiz to Tank Davis. Virgil Ortiz is not a world champion. Zepeda is not a world champion. These guys that fucking guys like John and others criticize aren't even world champions. The level of criticism you have for a contender is obviously different than the level of criticism you have for a champion. And then when you talk about a pound for pound fighter, the level of criticism fucking is exponentially more, which is why Canelo Alvarez gets so much hate. Even though he's fighting good fighters, Munguia and Berlanga, top contenders at 168 pounds, he's still being heavily criticized because he's not fighting one guy, David Benavidez. Whereas Tank Davis has never fought that one guy. His whole career has been about not fighting that one guy. But Black Americans are held to a higher level of criticism. Well, no, from everything I see, it's completely fucking opposite. But okay. War Stanionis. These same LDBC guys were recently saying Usyk isn't an ATG. Exactly. Outside of you talking about black people, what else do you cover during your lives? Virgil is the man. But Virgil's not the man. Apparently he's shit in a hype job. LDBC have become irrelevant. All of their heroes have gotten their ass whooped. That's true. Now they're fucking dick riding Devin Haney, and that just looks like a ship that's never going to sail. But, whatever. Leave Tank alone. Tank got nothing to do with this. Tank fought my boy Ryan, and Ryan got knocked the fuck out. That's like probably Tank's most memorable victory of his career against fucking Ryan. If Ryan beats Devin Haney, that win for Tank Davis fucking ages great. And Devin Haney's career is fucking... The LDBC is trash after that because literally then they have nobody to support. So let's look at Hagler, because this was what one person criticized, saying that if you don't think Errol Spence's resume is Hall of Famer, then obviously you don't think Marvin Hagler is. This is Marvin Hagler's run as a champion. Also limited, right? Obviously, he took a long time before he finally got the opportunities. Had to go also overseas to fight Alan Minter. Faced him, and then the tough Argentinian, then Vito Artefermo, Hamsho, Caveman Lee, rematched the Argentinian, Tony Simpson, another UK fighter, Scorpion, even though I know that's not his name, and then Roberto Duran, a lightweight, right? Similar to B-Hop and Golovkin, Golovkin, who got hated on for fighting a welterweight, undefeated world champion in Kell Brook. Hagler fought a lightweight in Roberto Duran, went the distance with him, fought Roldan, another Argentinian, Hamsho again, then Tommy Hearns, a welterweight, who is literally the biggest, most significant win of Marvin Hagler's career. Right there, you have Duran and Hearns, two Hall of Famers. I'm not sure which other fighter that he fought here are Hall of Famers. They were good middleweights, but I don't think Artefermo, Hamsho, Alan Minter, Tony Simpson, or those guys were elite. But obviously they were top contenders, kind of like Berlanga and kind of like fucking Munguia. Then he fought John Mugabe, who I was a huge fan of. I wanted Mugabe to beat fucking Hagler because, I was never a huge Hagler fan. I was a Leonard fan. So, anyone that would beat Hagler wasn't somebody that I was too concerned with because I just wanted Leonard to be the star. That was a great fight. If you've never watched it, go watch Hagler Mugabe. Great matchup. But after that, Mugabe's career was never the same. He was ruined after that. And you could say Hagler was ruined as well because obviously the next fight he had was against a welterweight in Leonard who beat him, right? And this is a Hagler whose record was 62-3-2, 2 draws, 3 losses. Golovkin's got 1 draw, 1 loss. Both great punchers, great chins, both best wins came against smaller fighters or most significant fights in their careers, right? But obviously far more significant than Errol Spence. Tank got exposed by Roach. Next, Ryan already beat Haney. Yeah, but he was on PEDs, so that doesn't count anymore. Hagler's resume is ATF compared to these soft touches, fools we have today. Well, not really. Hagler, you would never see Tank, Shakur, Floyd, Keyshawn get in the ring with Hearns type of fighter. Well, if you have a Hearns type of fighter come up 2 weight divisions to fight you, you could easily see them do it. We see Tank Davis uh, pull-up fighters all the time. And let's not put Keyshawn Davis in the same group with these other guys, because Keyshawn Davis is rolling the right way right now. He's doing like Ortiz. He's literally fighting great opponents. He's literally trying to make a name for himself by fighting quality fighters. He's going to fight De Los Santos next. De Los Santos is a great opponent for him. White fighters have to do twice the work of black fighters to get the recognition. That's fact. Because if you're a non-black fighter, like a Lomachenko or a Golovkin or fucking a Nui or somebody, you can become a 2-time undisputed champion, like Usyk as well, 3-weight, 4-weight world champion, 3-belt unified, just like Errol Spence. And people are going to say, you're a hype job. You're overrated. Right? They're not going to give you respect. It's like fucking Caitlin Clark playing in the WNBA. Doesn't get respect because she's the white player, even though she's the one that has the most fucking credit in the game, bringing the most eyes to the sport, benefiting the sport the most. But people don't want to give her credit because she doesn't fit the mold. When Cooper Flag comes out and joins the NBA, it's going to be the same fucking scenario. If he gets tons of praise, they're going to say he's only getting praise because he's fucking white. And if he was a black guy, there's a bunch of black guys as good as him, and they don't get the praise because there's so many black guys that are as good as him, right? It's always the same fucking thing. And this isn't me hating on black guys. It's me pointing out the racial fucking double standard. Just give people credit. That's it, regardless of fucking what color they are. Baranchik laid down. Yeah, that was definitely not a great performance, especially coming off of a fucking great win against Navarrete. I watched Duran Hagler last year, and I left being more impressed with Duran, considering his first pro fight. He weighed in at 100. Oh, what happened? 119 pounds. Even Senator Ted Kennedy told Bob Arum to give Hagler a title fight. That's how avoided Hagler was during the 70s and early 80s. Josh Giddey, guy that came from Australia, has been playing good this year with Australia. Josh Giddey is playing good for the Bulls. Did you just see his performance against the Lakers today? Triple-double, better stats than fucking Luka, and he hit the game-winning fucking 3 from half court to beat the Lakers. He played great today. Another non-American who's dominating the NBA. America's best center is a fucking guy from Congo. I meant to type that at the end. No, it looks like a great trade for them to get him from Oak City, right? Because in Oak City, he played well, but obviously he didn't get the ball as much as SDG. But now in Chicago, he's getting all the opportunities he ever wanted. Spence is not a Hall of Famer, but unfortunately, they'll probably put him there to save face for American boxing. Now that Kabial has exposed Zhang is weak to the body, is he done at heavyweight? Well, he's not done. He still has some potential quality opponents, depending on who's available to him, right? It's all about matchups, style matchups. We knew Kabial was going to be tough work for him. My favorite fighter growing up, Leonard. Obviously, I watched Leonard in the 1976 Olympics as a young kid. His big smile and flashy style. I was a fan. Leonard was a superstar, doing commercials all over fucking TV. He was the first Black American to really break out commercially everywhere. And at that era, you had tons of guys. Hagler ended up breaking out doing Gillette. You had fucking Mean Joe Green and many others. So, you know, a lot of guys were getting tons of fucking highlights back in the 80s. But obviously, a lot of it was started from Leonard. Great smile, personality, charisma, and what a fucking boxer. Fast hands, fast feet, super skilled. And this is his resume. Also, not that extensive, right? Compared to guys that came before him. Because of his detached retinas, he wasn't that active, right? Ended up fucking fighting too long, just like Ali. Took his loss to Norris and then Hector Macho Camacho later on. Well, he was well past his best. Obviously lost to Duran in a great fight, came back, rematched Duran, beat him, beat Wilfredo Benitez, beat fucking Tommy Hearns, beat Marvin Hagler, and then of course fought Donnie Lalonde. When people talk about, scam fucking situations, there was no bigger scam in fucking boxing history than Leonard becoming a 168-pound champion and a 175-pound champion by fighting Donnie Lalonde at a catch weight, I think, of 167 pounds for 2 world titles to become a 5-weight world champion. And Donnie Lalonde, Canadian, hurt Leonard. Leonard showed fucking what a superstar he was and how much heart he had to come back and knock Lalonde out, even though Lalonde was a one-arm fighter. Then fought Hearns, split decision. Always struggled with Hearns. Even that other win when he beat Hearns previously, because where is it? He fought Hearns 3 times, right? Where's the other Hearns fight? Didn't he fight Hearns 3 times? Am I mistaken? Am I mental? I thought he fought Hearns 3 times, but maybe it was just 2. My memory. I guess it was Duran he fought 3 times. Then obviously Hearns, then Norris 2 years later. But even Leonard, when you compare his resume to all-time greats, short but sweet, right? Some obviously historical victories on his resume, and then some disappointing performances. His performance against Howard, right, wasn't great. Who's the other guy that he fought? Also not a big name opponent, Bruce Finch, right? These guys weren't great names. You come off of a Tommy Hearn fight, you fight Bruce Finch, 28-3-1. Nobody knew who he was. Take 2 years out of the game because of your detached retina. Come back and fight Kevin Howard, who was 24-1, struggled with him, knocked him out late, but looked terrible in that fight. And then took 3 years out before you came back and fought Hagler. Nobody could have expected him to look as good as he did against Hagler based on that performance against fucking Kevin Howard prior, right? And that's here a superstar fighter fighting mediocre opponents. Imagine, any of these top pound for pound fighters fighting guys like Finch and Howard. They would be fucking crucified in today's boxing. Cabial is the future at heavyweight. Sugar Ray is the greatest pound for pound fighter ever. Well, I don't know about that, but obviously I thought he was a great fighter and could adjust in the ring. That KO against Davey Boy Green, I don't know who I would pick to beat Prime Leonard. Twice, Duran is a better pound for pound fighter than Leonard, so stop the cap. Duran, the guy that quit to him. Well, you got to put in, the history behind Duran quitting. Leonard's team forced that fight to happen real quick, knowing that Duran was out of shape, was celebrating and partying, was way overweight, and would never be able to get back into the kind of shape he needed to get back in to beat Leonard, who after losing wasn't doing what Duran was doing. Wasn't fucking hookers left, right, and center, snorting cocaine, fucking drinking like crazy and enjoying himself, right? Having a year-long fucking party in fucking Panama. Leonard wasn't doing that, right? Duran was fucked over by all the people that got money to force that rematch to happen the way it did. Don't get me wrong. I loved Leonard. So when Leonard lost to Duran, I was fucking heartbroken. And when he came back and got no moss, I was fucking on top of the world. Yeah, fuck you, Duran. But when you find out the truth behind it, Duran was hard done by. And it took him a long time to knock off that fucking no moss situation. A long time. Which ironically enough, people don't want to give fucking Lomachenko credit for making fucking 4 fighters in a row no moss. Rigo, Walters, Sosa, and somebody else, right? Hence getting the name Nomaschenko. Duran had a better career overall. He did, for sure. Duran had an old school resume, right? He didn't lose a lot of his career because of detached retinas that almost cost him his career. When Leonard had that eye injury, at that time, it was career threatening, right? People retired because of it. Obviously, Leonard had money and fame, and they were able to get good doctors and get through it. But Duran, the guy that quit on him, Duran fought for not being a professional. Huh? It's not about being professional. It's about being fucked over by management because of the money that was on the table. Even Leonard has said it in multiple interviews that Duran wasn't in shape in that rematch. Duran was a savage, and there's levels, and Ray Leonard was above. Well, it's okay you love Leonard. I love Leonard too, but as an adult who knows the true story, uh, I have a lot more respect, obviously, for Hagler and Duran than I did when I was a young kid who fanboyed for Leonard. But I still like Leonard better. But, I got to be honest. Honesty is the best policy. Oh, this was the best one. Fucking Ellie Setback. This dude is such a fucking toad. How can anyone listen to anything this fucking toad has to say? But he came out with this fucking statement after that interview. Fucking weasel motherfucker. So Crawford does not think Errol Spence, who has an amazing resume, belongs in the Hall of Fame. Fucking amazing resume. This is the same guy that blows fucking Tank Davis, right? This dude is so fucking much of a weasel. Weasel motherfucker. Starting to understand why Bud never really did interviews over the years. Well, we all wish, Ellie Setback, you fucking didn't do anything on social media so we wouldn't have to listen to your fucking dumb ass. Because literally, if you weren't being mocked and ridiculed by people in the game, you wouldn't fucking be anywhere on social media. These dudes mock you and ridicule you because you're a fucking weasel motherfucker. No one takes you serious. No one fucking takes anything this fucking guy says serious. The fact he's making money off of boxing is fucking disgusting because this guy knows nothing about the sport. Reporting. Ellie Lipsack is a grifter. No mas who. Rigo was 38, coming up 2 weights. No mas. Nicholas Walters did nothing but beat a blown-up Donaire at 126. No mas. Chenko. Sammy Sosa wasn't shit. No mas. Parko, you just sound like a fucking tool. So keep fucking saying what you got to say. We all read it. Everyone knows you're a fucking dumbass. Dumbass. You're probably a guy that gives fucking Errol Spence 100% credit for beating Mikey Garcia. Dumbass. Rick, stop the Loma hate. Loma is the GOAT. He is a GOAT. Rick is just a fucking moron. Who's sending me messages? So, overall, I think we already answered this question. Do you think Errol Spence is a future Hall of Famer? If yes, why? Hi, Rick. Let us know. We know you're a moron. So tell us, is Errol Spence a Hall of Famer? Mikey and Tank ducked Loma. Duck Loma. Duck Loma. Sad but true. Loma had to leave the 130-pound division, the division where he was going to fucking run it for years, because all those fucking bitches down there were too afraid to fight him. Burchelt, Tank Davis, fucking Corrales, or whoever that fucking guy was that was supposed to fight Loma, but he wouldn't do it. So the regular champion, Sammy Sosa, ended up fighting him instead because he had balls and wasn't a bitch like fucking that other guy. Right? All those dudes were fucking bitch made. So forced Lomachenko to do what? Fight Rigo, even though that was never what he wanted. And then obviously moved up to 135, became a 3-weight world champion. Should have fought Richard Comey and would have became undisputed. But unfortunately, Bob Arum and their team, they made a few blunders to Lomachenko's career. Fighting Salido when he came in too fat on the scale, they should have just told that guy to go fuck himself and then fought somebody else's replacement opponent later on. Then he wouldn't have had that early loss on his resume. And then they should have fought Comey and not fucking used Comey to build up Tio. But they were thinking Tio was going to be a big name. Unfortunately, he fucked that up by losing to fucking George Kambosos. Loma could have become an undisputed champion by beating Comey, a fight that would have been fucking easy to make. And then he could have fought Haney and Tio after the facts. I'm still disgusted to this for the robbery of Loma versus Devin. Man should be undisputed. It's a real shame. Yeah, it's boxing, right? Crooked as fuck. He had to take those fights because was being fast tracked because he was older starting. But he wasn't older starting, right? Come on. Older starting. He started his pro career at 25. He didn't need to fight Salido. He was supposed to fight Salido. Salido missed weight, came in big. They could have pulled out of that fight and then just rescheduled to fight a different opponent for that vacant title down the road, right? They didn't need to come in against a weight fucking heavy guy that wasn't qualified to even win the title. But they did, and that cost them, and that ref was a fucking tool. And then obviously Bob Arum and Top Rank could have had him fight Comey, but they decided to use Comey for Teofimo Lopez. They didn't need to do that though. They could have had Loma fight him, became undisputed, and then fought the young guys afterwards. People over exaggerate the Loma Haney fight. It was a legitimate close fight that Loma probably should have edged. Close fights aren't robberies. Unless it's your guy that loses. I'm pretty sure Devin Haney fucking had shake weights in his gloves. I saw fucking illegal wraps under his gloves. I'm pretty sure they fucking put something in Lomachenko's water bottle. He needs that fight, bro, 25 and having 2 fights. No, man, you don't fucking understand what I'm saying. He did not need to fight Salido for that title with Salido being overweight. They could have easily fucking gotten another opponent a few months later for the same fucking title. They cost themselves because they allowed fucking that guy to come in well overweight, weight bullying Lomachenko, and then fouling like fucking crazy. And then they didn't even fucking give them they allowed the fight in Texas where Lomachenko wasn't even protected by the fucking ref. So they definitely did not put him in a position that they should have in his second professional fight. It's a robbery when there are no way the other guy did not win 7 rounds. Well, that's it. There's no way Devin Haney won 7 rounds. Nobody could watch that fight and tell me 7 rounds that Devin Haney won. There was no definitive rounds that Devin Haney won. There were literally definitive rounds that Lomachenko won. Lomachenko won more definitive rounds in that fight than Manny Pacquiao won definitive rounds versus fucking Jeff Horn. So I can understand why Jeff Horn got a robbery fucking win versus fucking Pacquiao, even though I felt Pacquiao won. But Pacquiao had 1 definitive round in that whole fight. Lomachenko had far more definitive rounds. Devin Haney had 0 definitive rounds. There was no round he fought where he was dominant and you could say he clearly won that round. There were close rounds that you could have gave him or you could have gave Lomachenko. But I ain't trying to fucking rehash that. I'm not bitter. It is what it is. You move on. You don't fucking dwell and moan and groan over fucking... That's boxing, man. It's the history of boxing. My brain is tired. But yeah, no way Haney won 7 rounds. It was pretty clear, 116, 112. Loma clearly won 5 or 6 rounds at least in that fight. Haney, maybe 1 round he clearly won. I'm from London, so all this racial politics that surrounds boxing, especially American boxing, are new to me. I never saw this kind of stuff in my life before I started watching the YTBC. I believe that. It was this pride that they thought too highly of him, of Loma, so I guess you're right. Well, that's the problem, right? That's why I blame Lomachenko for both of his losses. His pride fucking allowed him to fight that guy who came in overweight. His pride forced him to fight fucking Teo when his father and his team told him to cancel the fight because of his shoulder. And then he said, I'll retire if fucking you close the fight. Your father's there protecting you, trying to make good decisions, and then you did that? His fucking arrogance and pride cost him those fights. And in the long run, that's fucking boxing. I can't hate the guy for doing it, but you definitely see how he fucked himself over because of it. Loma was blatantly robbed against Haney. Yeah, I mean, we can look at the situations with other Eastern Europeans in the States who were robbed in Vegas as well. Kovalev to fucking Andre Ward. Loma versus fucking Devin Haney. Golovkin versus fucking Canelo Alvarez. 3 examples of Eastern European fighters who clearly won their fights being robbed in Vegas by fucking American judges. Only in America do you have 3 American judges in fights like that. Never, ever, anywhere in the world. J.A., you live in the UK. When in the UK do you have 3 UK judges fucking judging a fight? Fucking never. Only in America that shit happens. Only in America. Yet Americans moan and groan that they can't travel outside the country because fucking they'll be robbed by fucking the terrible judges and terrible decisions that happen around the world. Really? Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. At least you know if you go fight in the other country, it's not going to be 3 Japanese judges fucking scoring it, or 3 Mexican judges scoring it, or 3 UK fucking judges scoring it. Jay, yes, it sucks here in America when it comes to the race hustling. That's coming from One Direction. J.A.'s favorite fucking band from the UK. One Direction. But thanks everyone for jumping in. It was a nice Friday chat. Like, I ain't trying to hate on Errol Spence because I don't have a problem with Errol Spence. I'm disappointed that Errol Spence, like so many PBC fighters, ruined his career, right? Didn't allow his career to become Hall of Fame worthy. Broner, Spence, Charlo, Tank Davis, Deontay Wilder. That's 6 of the biggest PBC fighters during fucking the PBC inception. All 6 of them hyped up like crazy, pushed on fucking pay-per-view, fucking talked about being fucking the future and the superstars of boxing. Even David Benavidez fits into that category. All 7 of these dudes fucked themselves over, ruined their careers by not being professional, right? So if we want to praise Sean Porter and put him on the Hall of Fame, it's because unlike these guys, Sean Porter was professional in his career. Well, those guys fucking were too busy partying, being inactive, and fucking ruining their careers. I used to think it was the LDBC that do the race hustling stuff when I come across other channels like Thunderdome, Nordic Warrior. Isn't Nordic Warrior from the UK? CCD. Who's CCD? And realize it happens across the board. That may be true, but to be fair, the LDBC all existed before any of those channels. And those channels, like myself, even though I was before the LDBC was around, sort of came out as a counter punch to the LDBC narratives. Those channels aren't really race hustlers, but they're race-driven channels. Guys like 78, I would consider race hustler because it's all about super chats. Yeah. Spence is a good fighter, but just not a Hall of Fame fighter. All hype jobs. And it's not that they're hype jobs. When the Charlo boys were both with fucking Golden Boy, they were being fucking promoted together, the whole brother dynamic. They were getting a ton of attention. People are really excited about the prospect of those 2 fighters moving forward. Deontay Wilder, no. People thought he's not really a great heavyweight. He's with Mark Breland. If Mark Breland can get him to use a jab with his power, maybe he can become something. But people never really looking at him as the great American heavyweight, right? Errol Spence, he got hyped by fucking Floyd Mayweather, who used him as a roadblock for Keith fucking Thurman, right? That's when he got hyped because Floyd Mayweather fucking hyped him up. Broner, hyped because he worked with fucking Floyd Mayweather. Tank Davis, hyped because he worked with Floyd Mayweather, right? So 3 of them got hyped up because of their relationship with Floyd. 2 of them really were getting built up, ground up from Golden Boy, because obviously it's a feel-good story. 2 twin brothers, both super skilled, blah, 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 blah. Big fan base, Texas, this and that. Sean is the original LDBC destroyer. That's me. But, the problem is their lack of professionalism. And it is what it is. Obviously, David Benavidez was the same. He lost his title once because of fucking snorting the white powder, too busy fucking partying instead of fucking training. When you're as young as him and you were a world champion, you should not be fucking out doing that shit at that point of your career. You're going to have years to do that down the fucking road. But when you're like 21, 22 years old, you have bad people around you, bad influences, people that are fucking driving you in the wrong fucking direction. Just like fucking the Charlos and Errol Spence, out of the club, fucking drunk, who knows what else they were doing consistently. Not being professional. You look at athletes today, these dudes train 12 months a year. Look at Mo Salah, Mohamed Salah for Liverpool. That dude is a fucking machine. The dude is ripped as fuck. In the off season, he trains like a beast. So when the season starts, that guy is in such fucking great condition. Fast, strong, in shape, ready to dominate fucking world football, both for Egypt and for Liverpool, right? Professional hockey players, these dudes fucking work out like fucking Trojan warriors in the off season. These boxers are fucking spoiled, fucking undisciplined, unprofessional, uneducated, right? And it shows. It shows in the way they fucking conduct themselves. Did you hear Broner dice gambling scandal? I did. But is that a fucking surprise? That Broner fucking threw his career away being a rapper and now fucking is, fixing fucking dice games, trying to steal money off of NBA players. Hope he doesn't leave at the end of the season. I don't think Mo Salah is going to leave, but obviously Trent's going to Real Madrid. I think Salah and Van Dijk will stay. You definitely don't want Salah to leave. He's a fucking living legend, right? What a season he's had this year. What a season. They all cow-chased every other fighter. They never intended to fight except for Jamel. He's actually accomplished, and Spence was just a solid B-level guy that was hyped up. To be fair, the middle Charlo, I never thought was that good. I think the big Charlo was better, and I think Errol Spence was better too. Even though I don't think Errol Spence was as fluid as either Charlo's really athletically. I don't think he's as athletic as they are or as long. But unfortunately, both Charlos are mental cases. And then Spence allowed those guys to rub off on him. He almost killed himself in a car crash, and his career was never fucking anything after the Sean Porter fight. Right? And that's his fault. You ruined your career. You ruined your legacy because you were too busy fucking spending the money when you should have been fucking in the gym. It is what it is. Unfortunately, I say this all the time. I don't hate on guys for doing it, but don't fucking expect me to be sympathetic because of what you did in your fucking career. I say if it was me, I probably would have done the same thing. I would have been snorting fucking lines off of hookers' fucking asses, right? And enjoying it like fucking crazy. But I couldn't fucking play woe is me at the end of it. I'd have to fucking take responsibility saying, sorry, too much of a good thing. Only one I respect is Stephen Fulton. Stephen Fulton, unlike every one of these guys I just mentioned previously, except, of course, Tank, he did come back in and re-win titles. I guess even David did too. But, he's come back and won a world title, right? Which makes his victory, Anui's victory over him, age fucking great. Stephen Fulton has done more than Errol Spence. He was a unified champion at 118, got beat, knocked out, flatlined, came back, and redeemed himself in a very controversial victory against fucking what's his face Figueroa, beat Figueroa to now become a two-weight world champion. Is Errol Spence ever going to become a two-weight world champion? At this point, I doubt it. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. Anything is possible. He could potentially win a title at 154 and duplicate exactly what Stephen Fulton has just done. But he's been off for 2 fucking years now. I just heard John Boxing praising him because he won't take any tune-up. Okay, good for him. So when he gets knocked out in his fucking comeback fight and sent into retirement because he won't take tune-ups, don't fucking use that as an excuse because him and his team are fucking mismanaging his career. Absolutely, Sean. I'd be traveling between South America and Asia, clapping cheeks and doing drugs. Man, I don't know if I'd be traveling between those countries. I'd probably be in the Caribbean fucking having things delivered to my private island. I know, what's the country? How come I have 3 people I work with that come from this country? Belize, sorry. You can buy islands in Belize, right? And Belize is very English, very American. So like Costa Rica as well. So I would buy somewhere in Costa Rica or Belize and just have fucking shit flowing in the off season. You'd be there. You could have your own training, everything else, and live in large. Fulton wasn't crying my side of the street against Inouye. He knew he was the B side. He knew he had to go to Japan. I respect that. Even Al Heyman didn't want the fight. Yeah, but to be fair, Errol Spence was the A side compared to Bud Crawford because the way the PBC operated, they built him up so that they could say, oh, yes, he's fought 3 world champions. He's a 3-belt unified champion. The only irony with that is people that were pushing that, the pro PBC guys, it's ironic that when Canelo Alvarez was with DAZN and was trying to become undisputed by fighting Plant, these guys wanted Canelo to go over to the PBC. So you don't have the same energy. Shouldn't fucking Caleb Plant go over to DAZN to get paid $10 million? Because he's definitely not the fucking A side. For the woman, Sean, I know for the woman, but you can deliver them. You get your private plane. You just pick them up, drop them off. Be like the Jewish guy, Rape Island. What's his name? You just deliver those people right to your door. And then throw them on the plane and send them back and bring more. But, yeah, That's obviously why we're not fucking super rich superstars. Because we just aren't professional enough. But I can admit it, so it's okay. Spence deserves huge credit for making the Bud fight. He does, yeah, because that fight would not have happened if it wasn't for Errol Spence. I think Spence was too busy listening to social media and listening to the critics talking about how that fight needed to be made, and he did what fans wanted. So credit to him, because if he would have listened to Al Heyman, we still wouldn't have got that Bud Crawford fight, right? The PBC is still trying to duck fucking Bud Crawford even now. So hats off to Errol Spence. I ain't hating. It's just, unfortunately, you weren't professional and you threw your career away. And because of that, you haven't done enough to fucking become a Hall of Famer. From my standards. Other people, they had you a Hall of Famer when you became a champion. Moving the goalposts is the PBC fanboy specialty. That's a fact. They love to move the goalposts. Live fight chat this weekend. Yes, there's a fight card on DAZN. Saturday night your time, Sunday morning mine. We talked about that fight already. Who is it again? I forget. Who's fighting this weekend? There's 3 fight cards. 3 fight cards. Have you guys seen the Kenshiro Shigo Kui fight yet? If you didn't, you should watch that. Or have you seen the Backroom fight? Because if you haven't seen that, you should definitely check out that too. Let's just quickly show it. Screen share.
He's got arguably the...
I don't want to do that because YouTube is going to say I can't monetize my video, even though I can't monetize it anyway. But this fight right there, you can see it on YouTube. Excellent. Best fight of the year. But then you also have this fight. Also on YouTube. Badagayev versus Romero. Also a great fight. The one thing I walked away from this is that Badagayev is a great fighter, but he might be a little fucking Amir Khanish with his chin. His chin looks a little suspect. A little suspect. Yeah. Meyer is fighting that Euro chick. That was a great fight out. Shout out to Taraji. Glad Ring Magazine finally put him on the pound for pound rankings. For sure. Oh, yeah, Zepeda Farmer. Yeah, that's it. Zepeda Farmer. And then some women's fight underneath of it as well. There's like 2 cards, and I think one's Top Rank and one is fucking the Zone, and both have women fights on it. So, you got to suffer a little bit. The Ducker, Zepeda versus Farmer this weekend. To be fair, though, it's a fight that needed to happen because most people feel that Zepeda was kind of exposed in that fight. So he should try to redeem himself. If Tank Davis needs to redeem himself against Roach, then Zepeda needs to redeem himself against Farmer. It's only fair. Only fair. And Farmer deserves that opportunity to try to redeem himself, get the win. We will see what happens. But overall, there's some fights. I don't know. Oh, Japanese fighter just fought. Oh, draw. Oh, Shatsu Shimzi. 11-2-1, 10 KOs and 11 wins. Just fought Rhea Abba, 26-4-1. Majority draw over 10 rounds. Yeah. Meanwhile, the guy hasn't fought since 2023 when he was knocked out by Robsy Ramirez in 5 rounds. Not the performance he was fucking looking for, that's for sure. Oh, the other Japanese fighters fighting this weekend as well. Yabuki versus Angel Ayala. And Brian Norman is fighting this weekend against Derek Cuevas. Who's picking Derek Cuevas for the upset? WBO 147-pound title going through everybody's hands. Lee really needed Zepeda Farmer too. He got the win. During the women's fight, I'll make a food run. I consider it a break. Laugh out loud. Don't be like that. Who is it? Yokasta Valle versus Marlene Esperanza. Okay. Also, yes, Oscar Collazo is also fighting. That's going to be a good fight. So the Zepeda fight, Farmer's good, and then Oscar Collazo defending his WBO minimum weight title. That shit's going to be must-see as well. So I'm definitely going to be live on DAZN for those 2 fights. I'll probably just tune in a little later or do something else talking about other fights during the women's fight because I ain't fucking too fussed one way or the other with regards to that. And as far as the Brian Norman fight, that always has some good fight. Bruce Carrington is on the card. Delonte Johnson is fighting Kendo Castaneda. Quality opponent. Emmanuel Vargas is fighting Giovanni Gonzalez. Also a quality opponent for him as well. So the 2 young guys are both fighting solid opponents. Bruce Carrington against Enrique Vivas. I'm not sure. I think that's mostly like a cherry pick fight for him. Mikhail Mayer versus Sandy Ryan. Good women's fight. And then Brian Norman versus Derek Cuevas. I think Cuevas is going to win the fight. Yacasta is sexy. I'll be pulling for Farmer. Let's go Oscar. Oscar's good. Yacasta Valle is sexy. Let me see. Where is she? Mexican chick. Oh, yeah. She ain't too bad in this picture, which means she's probably not too bad in real life. You know how things are. On boxing pictures, they never really look too good. It's not like the sexy pictures, that's for sure. Let's see. Yacasta Valle, sexy screen pictures. There we go. Green bikini, not too bad. Matching her green belt. What's this other one? Oh, I think this one looks good. Oh, yeah, she looks pretty fit. There's one. You can see her penis in this. I thought she was from Mexico, not Thailand. Yeah, okay. Yacasta, oh, there you go. Ass shot. Yeah, she's not too bad. I don't usually think too much about boxers. I like the Japanese girl with pink hair, mostly just because of the pink hair. But then again, if Farmer wins, they'll probably have a damn trilogy. To be fair, if Farmer wins, it would probably be smart to have a trilogy because how much money is Zepeda going to fight coming off of a loss to Tevin Farmer? Right? Like, you might as well have the trilogy fight because at that point, your buzz is fucking dead. Your buzz is dead. No one's going to be hyping you up too much after that. But what do you guys think about Yacasta? Does she really have OnlyFans? Oh, look at that. All these fucking girls now doing OnlyFans. Shh. She don't have a nice smile, though. Her teeth are a little jacked up. But, you know, who am I to talk? As my friend likes to say, I'm no Brad Pitt. She looks pretty good in jeans, even though right there she got a bit of a horse face going. Red bikini. Yeah, you know what they say. I wouldn't kick her out of bed for eating fucking crackers. Zepeda is the only fighter. Farmer, again, is silent. The fact that he was juicing. Yeah, well, that's it. But now the fight's in Mexico, so it makes it seem even more likely that he's going to be fucking juicing the second time around, right? Like, you're not winning anyone over by fighting in Mexico. If you're going to be cheating, Mexico's the fucking country to cheat in for sure. You can get all your fucking PEDs fucking from the corner store. So, good on you for that. Are any of you guys watching March Madness? Did you watch Cooper Flagg's dominant game today? 30 points. What was it? 7 assists, 6 rebounds, 3 block shots. Duke winning once again. That boy, he could play. He's leading Duke to another NCAA March Madness title. But my bracket is okay. Actually, this year, the bracket was pretty easy. Not too many upsets. Oh, broken wrist. What happened to all the fucking trolls from earlier? They ran away to go troll somebody else's channel. Congratulations. Perfect. But I don't need to see a smile. That's why doggy was invented. I don't know if that's why doggy was invented, but it's definitely why people use it. He's going to be stronger shit this time. Ha ha ha. You, John Boxing, busy making a video. Well, that's probably true. John's making his response video. What's up, Lily, you lazy bitch? Let's see what the old TV has. See if John already's got something up. I expect it.
Page, Clapton. Oh.
Page and Clapton. The Nuvi is overrated. Man, the fucking narratives you see on YouTube, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Competition is where it counts.
Yeah, competition's where it counts. Unless we're talking about Tank Davis. And then it don't matter. Nothing new. Only the hating on Virgil fucking video. Is it beach weather over there? Fuck, today was beach weather. It was 30-something degrees. It's like, Jesus Christ, man. It's just the end of March. Can we stretch out like winter a little bit? John is making a racist video accusing others of being racist. What a moron. Well, that's it. The hypocrisy, the fact that he literally accuses people of doing what he's literally doing. Hey, Sean, do you agree that Karen exposed Boots' lack of footwork? I don't think it's that. I think Boots, like many fighters, is becoming a little bit power hungry. When you start landing power shots, you start overestimating or overvaluing your power. Like Donaire fucking ruined his career when he started just trying to throw the left hand all the time. I think Boots is kind of going through that now. So actually fighting a guy like Karen, it's probably good because it makes you sort of reevaluate and not be so one-dimensional. But I still think he's got decent footwork. When you think about guys at 147 pounds, who do you think has better footwork than Boots Ennis? Right now, so you got Devin Haney. So maybe Devin Haney's got better footwork. Does Howard have better footwork? Mario Barros? Stanionis? Ryan Garcia? Ramirez? Right? Like, there's not many guys there that you would say have better footwork than him. But that doesn't mean he's got great footwork. But who has great footwork in that division? But I'm going to jet. It's almost 12 o'clock. I have to wake up early to watch NCAA March Madness. And then I have to go teach tomorrow. I couldn't get out of it. I see one of my ex-students pass my house all the time to go get pizza down the road. So I could not fucking avoid teaching his class. So easy money, $60 every Saturday. So there you go. But thanks everyone for jumping in. I will see you later on Sunday. DAZN, Cepeda versus Farmer, Collazo versus somebody. Peace out, everyone. Have a good one.